Meagan Good is not okay. Uncovering the kept Christian's unholy behavior. Where does her career stand? So we've arrived here yet again. Meagan Good is causing quite the controversy in the media, and this time it isn't due to her scantily clad fits or sexual nature relating to her preaching pastor ex husband. Megan has been on the radar since the late 90s, building a sexed up image cultivated around the male gaze. Appearing in music videos like 50 Cent's 21 Questions and films like Stomp The Yard, she's been able to build her resume around the hip hop community, propping her up as a Y2K sex symbol. But despite her long history within the film industry, Megan just hasn't been able to get her foot through that A-list door. She's one of those actresses that you gawk at for their beauty or intellect. But can we please be honest here? Intellect doesn't always mean you make the smartest decisions. Exhibit A being her newfound relationship with Jonathan Majors, who's been in the news lately for an alleged DV case. After Meg popped up hand in hand with Majors at his trial hearing, onlookers were perplexed and immediately sounded off. She couldn't support him from the couch? After divorcing from Devon last year, the holier than thou community were divided, with some blaming Megan's unholy behavior on a split. So why don't we take a closer look at Meagan Good's so-called unholy behavior and how it has possibly stalled her career? Now, Megan, we're not telling you what to do, but girl, what you doing? After Megan walked into that courthouse with Jonathan Majors, looking like a modern-day great value MLK and Coretta, the internet was in shambles and confusion. Comments like, "She went from a pastor's wife to an abuser's side chick" were seen all over social media. And of course, the memes rolled in and had us gasping for air. But in all seriousness, some were not here for Miss Good playing Super Mammy and Captain Save a Negro for a man she just got in a relationship with facing a domestic abuse charge. To catch you up, earlier this year, Creed star Jonathan Majors committed career homicide when his ex-girlfriend accused him of domestic violence. After finding Majors texting a certain someone while the two of them were in a vehicle, the woman accused Jonathan of cheating, and the situation quickly turned into an Ike and Tina in the limo moment. Reports say that he twisted her arm, bent her finger, struck her, and the whole nine. Police were called, and Jonathan found himself in the back of a cruiser. It didn't help when documents were released by his own lawyer to the media, showing text threads between the two, showing his now ex-girlfriend apologizing for trying to take his phone. Talk about self-incrimination. Time for a new lawyer, but this isn't about Majors and his upcoming legal issues, more so about Meagan Good making a conscious decision to show up hand in hand to court with him while he's facing these charges. Let's say Jonathan really is innocent in all of this. If he is, great. However, yielding your new girlfriend to the courthouse with your screams every bit of insincere and PR, according to the internet jury. Which is why the title is what it is. Meagan Good is not okay. At least that's what y'all are saying. It hasn't been a good year since her divorce from her husband, Devon Franklin, Columbia Pictures Sony producer, preacher, and motivational speaker who's been defending his ex-wife since the beginning of their relationship till the end and beyond. But after seeing her with Jonathan, the people are convinced that Megan was always the problem. We understand Devon. After tying the knot in 2012, Devon and Megan quickly became a power couple, releasing their book, The Wait, and showcasing their unconventional marriage to the world. Unconventional not due to their profession or anything of the sort, but due to Megan's unwillingness to tone down her sex appeal. Time and time again, her choice in fashion and behavior have been put on blast by the holier-than-thou community. Example being the blue dress controversy at the 2013 BET Awards, where she was seen with her husband wearing a revealing low-cut dress with a neckline that cascaded down to her navel, exposing lots of breast flesh. What made it even worse was that she was presenting the award for Best Gospel Artist. Despite getting major backlash that would eat her up for years to come, she didn't think her choice of dress warranted the critics. However, she did point out the difference in how she was treated versus the treatment other actresses would have got if wearing similar. BET even hit her up the following year, inviting her to present again, but only if she agreed to do a monologue where she had to joke about the dress alongside presenter Nick Cannon. But Meg was not going for it. Not only did she not think it was funny, but quite frankly, she felt slightly traumatized by the entire thing. She felt as though those over at the network had a certain perception of her, compared to more solidified actresses like Taraji P. Henson or Gabrielle Union. Deriving from the 1998 film Eve's Bayou, a then teen Megan looked to acting as a hobby. Her mom allowed her to take on certain gigs, her first ever playing an extra on the Ice Cube credited film Friday. Remember the little girl with the backwards hat by the ice cream truck? Yep, that was our girl. Notifying her mother that she wanted to take acting more seriously prompted her mom to quit her job and take on a role as Megan's manager. With doing so, landed her such roles as Nina on Nickelodeon's Cousin Skeeter, the famous Jet Jackson, and My Wife and Kids. Her career took a major turn when she began getting casted in films like Stomp The Yard, You Got Served, Biker Boys, DEBS, and music videos like 51 Cents, 21 Questions, KCI and JoJo, This Very Moment, and Will Smith, Black Suits Comin'. Immediately becoming the it girl of the 2000s and somewhat of a sex symbol overnight. And this is where the paradox comes in. Sure, she was sexier than sexy, a King's magazine cover girl, and wore revealing clothes on red carpets. However, Megan had this class about her that separated her from the rest of the girls. She was sexy, not raunchy and naturally seductive. Every man wanted to be with her, and her presence was strong, but not strong to the point where she intimidated other women. In short, Megan knew how to work her magic in such a way that it benefited her. But as the years passed, so did her outlook on life and relationships. She wasn't necessarily one to expose herself for a few beads at Mardi Gras, but she was always down for a good time. Drinking, smoking, you name it. She did it all, but didn't always feel good about it. Growing up in a religious household and overall upbringing came with a lot of restrictions for Megan. Constantly being told what to do was suffocating, and in result led to her rebellion. If she felt bad about something, she was quick to take a shot or two, 3, 4, 5. Drinking led to smoking, weed, hookah, cigarettes, all that. Teen and early adult Megan was in her party girl era, and being paraded as a 2000s video vixen sex symbol came with its array of men. From 50 Cent to Lil Wayne, Jamie Foxx, allegedly, Nick Cannon, and Thomas Jones. After all that trial and error, Meg had enough of the F-boys and superficial relationships and made the decision in her 30s that she wanted to be somebody's wife. She wanted a new start, away from the image of her past, away from the toxic men, away from the unholy life. So when she came across Devon Franklin, who was working as producer on the 2011 film Jumping the Broom, which Megan also starred in, she just knew this was her man. Devon says Megan's cousins came to him and told him that Meg was calling him her husband, even before Devon himself knew she even liked them. Luckily for the both of them, they were single, celibate, and ready. But before Meg jumped the gun, she had to get rid of some extra baggage, some bad habits. Drinking and smoking had to hit the road. Telling sources she had quit before she even met Devon back in 2011, paparazzi caught Miss Good with a cigarette in hand only a month after she had claimed she kicked the habit. Must have been in the beginning stages, because soon enough, she not only found her dream man, but the two went on to tie the knot just a year later. Being the wife of a preacher was what Meg yearned for. She'd been reading her Bible and praying for this very moment, and despite yielding herself from her past party girl ways, some things just couldn't be compromised. Her fashion, for one. Meg wasn't trying to hear nothing y'all was saying and was going to express herself however she pleased. Her husband was going to defend her every time someone had something to say about it too. Like that one lady who boldly told Megan to cover up right in front of her husband during a live stream church Q&A interview for their book, The Wait. One thing y'all wasn't about to do was come for his wife, no matter how much was exposed. Reason being why she doesn't mess with the church even now. Calling herself a free spirit, she doesn't see anything wrong with drinking, clubbing, or having an overall good time. However, People in the church community do not feel that that is appropriate. They tend to be very judgmental, religious, and narrow minded. The ridicules, attacks, and judgment she regularly got for being a preacher's sexy wife was relentless, and she felt the effects hard. However, that wouldn't deter her from wearing sexy outfits on the red carpet. With her extracurricular secular activities behind her, she did her best to be a good role model for younger girls, coming out with a good girl clothing line called Defend, which encouraged girls to not take on stereotypes of bad girl imagery, but don't get it confused. Although she was promoting the return of the good girl, Meagan didn't shed her bad girl skin entirely. Even her Las Vegas bachelorette party came with a burlesque dance number, and Meg somehow ended up on a pole. In 2014, she was a victim of the celebrity iCloud hack, which leaked several nude photos of Meagan along with hundreds of other celebs. This put a damper on the public's perception of her because not the preacher's wife's in the news and flashing him on FaceTime, confirming the photos in an IG post. She basically said the hack was above her and that she would kindly appreciate it if y'all would stop retweeting and reposting her tatas, going on to say that you all know how she feels about chestises. Following her divorce from Devon Franklin, speculation surrounding Meagan's unwillingness to retire her hot girl antics for good came about after he was the one to break things off with her. She just couldn't suppress who she really was any longer, and we guess Devon said enough was enough. Though painful overall, the decision was neutral. That didn't mean Devon was over Meagan just yet, because according to himself, he still isn't. He still loves her, but something in their marriage just wasn't quite right. Not enough to keep things attached no longer than 10 years anyway. He's healing and taking it slow, and the two remain friends till this day, focusing his attention on what he loves best, producing and ministering. Meagan, on the other hand, has been busy shacking it up with Mr. Permanent Purse Lips himself, Jonathan Majors, leading people to speculate whether or not this was some PR stunt or if Meagan was using Jonathan as a rebound of some sort. Which leads to our final question. Where does Meagan's career stand? Despite being in an acting business for well over 20 years, she never could reach the same caliber as a Gabrielle Union, Kerry Washington, or Taraji P. Henson. Currently starring in the Amazon Prime original series Harlem, it appears as though Meagan is still waiting for her Taraji P. Henson and Empire moment, something that will launch her career to new heights. The DC Shazam movie released earlier this year had the potential to skyrocket her career as well, but slightly missed the mark. Some say that her attempt to shed her old image was also an attempt at changing people's perception of her, which hopefully will lead to a shift in her career. Perhaps then casting agents would take her more seriously. Despite a few hiccups nowadays, it seems as though Meagan is focused on her career and finding herself after her split from Devon Franklin. She's hit a few bumps in the road along the way, but that hasn't pushed her all the way off the radar. Her advocacy work, particularly in empowering young women and promoting self-confidence, reflects her commitment to mentorship and nurturing talent. She has been involved in mentorship programs and has offered guidance and support to aspiring actors, taking on the role as director and producer to upcoming artists and actresses. Although, we must say her behavior recently is still a tad bit questionable. Do you agree? Let us know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comments, and stay tuned for more true celebrity stories.